The movie begins with a young boy named Elio, who looks really sad and withdrawn. His aunt, Commander Olga, tries to comfort him. From their conversation, we understand that both of Elio's parents have passed away. While Olga gets busy with her work, Elio sneaks away to explore. He finds a locked room and steps inside curiously. In the center, a strange golden disc catches his eye. He presses the button beneath it, and suddenly the whole place goes dark. Then advanced lights flicker on, turning the room into what looks like outer space. Elio lies on the floor in awe, as a voice explains that a probe has been launched to the farthest point in the universe, searching for intelligent life. The message hits him deeply, especially when the voice says that maybe one day this probe will prove that humanity is not alone. Just then, Olga walks in, worried. Elio asks if she really thinks there might be life out there, but she dodges the question and takes him away. Meanwhile, far in space, a mysterious light appears and pulls the probe into it. Time passes. Elio, now a little older, is still obsessed with aliens. Every day he sits on the beach, trying to contact them using his strange inventions and a radio. He never gets a reply, but he never stops trying. One night, as he dozes off, a green light wakes him. A boy named Bryce stands over him, asking if he's the one who posted the flyers for the Ham Radio Club. Elio proudly says he's the club president, even though he's the only member. Bryce's friend Caleb arrives and mocks Elio's helmet. Trying to make them leave, Elio tells them he has COVID and could infect them. They laugh, but suddenly the radio picks up a real signal from space. Elio jumps to connect, but Caleb grabs the radio, trying to see what's happening. They struggle, and the radio falls and breaks. Furious, Elio lunges at Caleb and punches him, just as the police arrive and separate them. After that, Olga scolds Elio for what he did, reminding him that the doctor told him not to touch or remove his eye patch for 2 weeks. We see she works at a military base that monitors satellites, and it's clear how hard it is for her to raise him. He's always acting out. Elio apologizes using Elionian, a secret language he created with his parents before they died. That only makes Olga angrier, since she doesn't understand him. She locks him in her office and leaves for an important meeting. Curious, Elio overhears soldiers saying that Dr. Milmac has made contact with aliens. Of course, he sneaks into the meeting and hides in a trash bin. Inside, everyone listens as Dr. Milmac plays the same signal Elio heard on the beach. Most think it's just noise, but Milmac adjusts it and reveals a message saying, "Greetings to planet Earth." Elio's eyes widen in awe. Excited, Milmac explains this is a reply to the probe NASA sent years ago, proof of real communication. He even says he sent another message back and asks Commander Olga to record a new reply. While everyone treats it like a harmless anomaly, they start doubting Milmac's sanity and give him a week off. When the room clears, Elio crawls out, sits by the mic, and records his own message. "My name is Elio, from Earth. I'm smart and creative. Please take me with you." He sends it, and instantly the satellites flicker, and the entire base goes dark. And then Olga brings Elio home, apologizing to her superiors over the phone for everything he caused. Elio doesn't care. He's packing, convinced the aliens are coming for him. A moment she hangs up, Olga snaps. She tells him the truth. The aliens aren't real. He nearly got her fired, and his place is here on Earth. She adds that she's sending him to a 2-week summer camp. That hits him hard. He shouts that maybe out there someone might actually love him, because she never will the way his parents did. The words cut deep. Olga walks away in silence. Later, Elio overhears her telling a coworker how much she struggles. How her life fell apart the moment she had to raise him alone, and how she wishes she knew how to show him she cares. He returns to his bed, staring at a photo of his parents, missing them more than ever. That night, he waits on the roof, hoping the aliens will reach out. The next day, Olga takes him to camp. They watch the kids play, and he learns she grew up here too. But as soon as she leaves, Bryce and Caleb show up, angry because they were sent here because of him. They shove him to the ground and walk off. That night in his tent, Elio is still trying to contact the aliens with no luck. Nearby, Bryce, Caleb, and 2 friends put on alien masks, ready to scare and beat him. Elio panics when he hears them approaching. But when the boys burst into his tent, it's empty. He's gone. Terrified, Elio runs deep into the forest, chased by the boys, until he reaches the beach and hides behind the trunk of a fallen tree. And then, everything shifts at once. Olga is monitoring satellite paths, trying to prevent collisions, when a new object appears, racing toward Earth. It's sending the same strange signals they detected before. Suddenly, every device in the room shuts down. Screens light up with one message: the aliens are coming. Even her phone is taken over. The entire system collapses around her. Meanwhile, Elio sees his own phone glitching, but Bryce and Caleb grab him tighter, ready to hit him. Then a strange light rises from the ocean, growing brighter, moving straight toward them. Elio tries to warn the boys, but they ignore him and punch him. When he opens his eyes, time has stopped. Everyone is frozen except him. He slips out of their hands and looks up. A glowing object is floating in the sky, aiming a green beam right at him. Elio lights up with joy. They're here. The beam pulls him upward, closer and closer, until he's taken inside, and everything vanishes. He wakes up in a strange place. In front of him stands a liquid, floating supercomputer scanning his entire body. It creates a small communication disk, letting him understand everything, then turns on gravity for him. The being introduces itself, welcoming him to the planet of communication, and lifts him onto a hovering platform. They soar through a world of impossible technology and living data. The supercomputer explains that the greatest minds in the universe come here to share knowledge. Then, 3 unusual beings appear, ambassadors of the planet. They greet Elio warmly: Ambassador Cuesta, Ambassador Helix, and Ambassador Tegman. Amazed, Elio introduces himself as someone from Earth. Cuesta is surprised and tries to read his thoughts, but Helix stops her, reminding her he's still a new guest. And then, the tour continues like nothing has slowed down. They take Elio straight to the celebration made just for him. He's overwhelmed by the crowds of aliens, all different, all extraordinary. Helix explains that Elio is being considered as a new ambassador of the communication planet, and they'll even create a special badge for him. Elio loves the idea. They bring him to the inventor of the Book of Knowledge, a being who can answer any question in the universe. Elio is amazed by its intelligence. Then he meets the creator of the communication discs, which control body heat, gravity, and every known language. After that, Helix leads him to the nano creatures that can shape anything he imagines. They design a stunning suit for him. At the end of the tour, Elio finally asks why they chose him. Helix tells him they've been searching for him ever since he sent them the little shuttle, the one NASA launched years ago. They believe he built it. They even play back the message asking them to come get him. Elio freezes. They think he's the leader of Earth. Before he can admit the truth, the supercomputer interrupts. There's a problem with the other candidate. They rush to the meeting hall, where Lord Grigon, the so-called Lord of Destruction, is demanding to join them. He's powerful, dangerous, and insists that with their technology and his weapons, no one could ever oppose them. But Cuesta announces the council's decision. His intentions are dark, and he cannot join. Grigon explodes with anger, vows to conquer their world by force, and storms out. The ambassadors panic and prepare to evacuate the entire planet to escape him. Elio steps in, asking what will happen to him. Helix apologizes. Elio can't be an ambassador now. The supercomputer gently tells him they'll return him to Earth so he can continue his normal life. But Elio refuses. He insists he can negotiate with Lord Grigon. He lies, saying he has solved many conflicts before and can find a peaceful solution, so they won't have to keep running forever. The ambassadors are impressed. Helix tells him that if he really succeeds, he will become their official ambassador from Earth. After that, the supercomputer takes Elio to the cloning chamber, pulls a DNA sample, and mixes it with other particles. He explains that Elio can't just vanish from Earth, then starts creating a perfect copy of him. In seconds, the clone steps out. Same face, same voice, even the eye patch. The supercomputer opens a portal back to where Elio was taken. Time still frozen. Elio tells his clone to just be a good, normal kid. The clone nods, steps through, and takes his place. Before meeting Lord Grigon, Elio checks the Book of Knowledge, asking for the best ways to negotiate. He thinks through every option, scribbling them on his arm. Back on Earth, Olga finds the clone and walks him out of the camp, upset that his friends hurt him. The clone calmly tells her he got hit hard because he's too weak, acting unusually polite. She apologizes and tries to explain the strange signal she received last night. But the clone brushes it off and puts on her favorite music. She starts noticing how different he feels. Meanwhile, on the communication planet, Helix and the ambassadors panic as Lord Grigon's fleet approaches. Elio arrives, calming them, and asks how he's supposed to reach Grigon. Helix places him inside a small pod and launches him toward the flagship. Elio struggles to control it, almost sending it back to Earth by mistake, but he pushes through and heads straight for Grigon's ship. A beam pulls the pod inside. Elio steps out, surrounded by Grigon's soldiers, and they escort him to Lord Grigon. Then Lord Grigon appears in full scale, huge, and fires his cannon at the living flowers. He asks Elio why he's here. Elio explains he came to negotiate. Suddenly, weapons pop up for him to test. He grabs a gun, fires by accident. The shot bounces and hits a flower. Grigon is impressed and finally listens. Elio tells him to look for people who actually want him instead of forcing himself on the ambassadors. But Griggin insists on joining the communication planet so he can use their tech to expand his weapons and conquer the universe. A soldier interrupts. His son wants to see him. Griggin gets annoyed, complains he can't deal with his kid, then snaps, blasts thousands of flowers, ends the negotiation, and orders his soldiers to lock Elio up so he can watch him destroy the planet. On Earth, Olga is amazed at how gentle and smart the clone has become. Back on the ship, Elio sits in an old cell, desperate to escape and save the planet. He notices a small hole in the ceiling. He cuts the gravity, reaches it, and crawls into a tunnel. While thinking about taking someone Griggin loves as a hostage, he slips into another shaft, a web-like nest. A strange creature approaches, bearing sharp, scary teeth, and wraps him in webs. Suddenly, the communication disc activates, and Elio understands him. The creature is actually trying to comfort him, and he's just a kid. Elio relaxes, introduces himself, and asks his name. The creature says Glorden, frees him, and drops him gently to the floor. Glorden is chatty, kind, and shows Elio his suit. Elio is shocked. Every suit is powered by a creature like him. Glorden explains he's supposed to pilot the armor and fire its weapons. An alarm goes off. Glorden realizes Elio is the escaped prisoner. He begs Elio to explain everything, promising to help. Elio tells him the whole story, and that he's only a kid. Glorden is stunned, but agrees to help. Elio says he wants to take someone Griggin loves as a hostage. Glorden tells him his dad only loves war, conquest, and destruction. Elio realizes it. Glorden is Griggin's son. As expected, Elio decides to take Glorden as the hostage. The surprise? Glorden agrees, thinking it'll make his father finally care. They sneak through the quiet tunnels until Glorden gets stuck. Elio pushes him free. Both fall through another opening leading to new tunnels. And then, inside those narrow tunnels, everything turns intense fast. Elio freezes when he sees a wave of lava rushing toward them. But Glorden stays calm, telling him his body can survive the heat. Elio hesitates at first. The teeth look terrifying. But with no other choice, he climbs inside. To his shock, the lava doesn't hurt Glorden at all. It pushes him forward, blasting them out of the tunnels and straight toward the shuttle. Back on solid ground, Elio thanks Glorden for saving his life. For the first time, he feels like he actually has a friend. They jump into the shuttle, escape the planet, and head back to the communiverse. Everyone is stunned when Elio appears, with Glorden beside him. At that moment, Elio contacts Lord Griggin and shows him his kidnapped son. Glorden plays along perfectly, pretending Elio is torturing him. Griggin believes every word. Elio uses the moment to demand one thing: stay away from the communiverse, and he'll return his son. Griggin hesitates. He never breaks a vow, but when he sees Glorden suffering, he agrees. Before ending the call, he warns Elio, if anything happens to Glorden, he'll destroy the entire communiverse. Elio celebrates, and the ambassadors praise him for what he accomplished. They begin preparing for Griggin's arrival. Meanwhile, Elio checks on Glorden, warns him with the communication disc, and suddenly the gravity drops. The two float into the air, laughing, then glide down toward the waterfalls. They spend the day exploring the communiverse together, sliding on the ice, trying new food, learning each other's greetings. Their friendship grows deeper. But later, as they sit quietly on a bridge, memories of Elio's parents hit him hard. He admits he's been lost ever since they died, that he came here thinking Earth was the problem. But now, he realizes the problem was inside him all along. Glorden gently comforts him, telling Elio he cares about him, and he's glad they became friends. And then everything shifts again. They suddenly see Lord Griggan's ships arriving at the Communiverse to take Glorden back. Griggan steps out with his followers, carrying Glorden's battlesuit. The moment Glorden sees it, he grows quiet and sad. Elio asks why, and Glorden finally admits he never wanted this life. He doesn't want to fight or live in endless wars, but if he refuses the suit, his father will hate him, and his entire people will reject him. Elio feels for him, and he decides to help. He takes Glorden to the cloning chamber and asks the system to show his own clone. They both watch Elio's clone acting kindly with Olga, and how much she clearly loves him. The real Elio realizes the problem was inside him all along, but he pushes the thought away and focuses on Glorden. He grabs a sample of the sticky material, mixes it with Glorden's DNA, and starts the machine. Within moments, a perfect Glorden clone appears. Sane look, sane behavior. Elio takes both Glorden and the clone to his pod, tells Glorden to hide inside and stay silent, then locks it. Meanwhile, Olga is amazed by the meal Elio's clone prepared for her. Before he leaves to rest, she kisses him goodnight. Once she's alone, she pulls out the hair she took from him earlier. She's been suspicious from the start and filmed everything he did. She puts the hair under the microscope, but it suddenly breaks the glass, moves on its own, and crawls across the floor. Shocked, Olga follows it all the way to Elio's room. It climbs on his bed and returns to its place. Olga can't believe what she's seeing. She lifts the clone's eyelid, but there's no eye. The clone wakes up, and in that moment, he decides to tell her the truth. And at that moment, the tension explodes. On the Communiverse, Lord Griggan and the ambassadors wait for Elio to bring Glorden back. Elio arrives with the clone, and no one suspects a thing. Griggan is thrilled to see his son and asks if he's ready to become the greatest war machine in the universe. The clone agrees, steps into the massive battlesuit, and the coronation begins. The suit closes around him, and everyone watches in fear as its weapons activate under the clone's control. Griggan is overjoyed and promises to keep the universe in peace. But right before they leave, the clone blurts out that he wants to fight, destroy, and conquer worlds. Griggan hesitates. Meanwhile, Questa and Helix congratulate Elio for what he's done and decide to make him an ambassador, handing him his badge. Suddenly, Griggan destroys the clone after realizing it isn't his son. He orders his followers to seize Elio, then forces Questa to read his thoughts to find Glorden's real location. The moment she looks into Elio's mind, she's shocked to discover the truth. He lied to all of them. And now Griggan knows exactly where Glorden is. Inside the pod in the launch bay, all the forces rush there. Glorden spots his father's soldiers searching for him and panics. He tries to escape, but accidentally activates the pod and sends it flying straight toward Earth without realizing what he's done. Back with Questa, she orders the system to open a portal to Earth and tells all the ambassadors the truth. Elio isn't their leader, he didn't invent anything, and he's just a kid. The ambassadors are stunned. And no matter how hard Elio tries to explain, none of them believe him. And right then, Gregan storms in, furious. The pod carrying his son is gone, and he orders his troops to destroy everything in their way and capture every ambassador until they find Glorden. He loses control completely and corners Elio. But before he can attack, Cuesta pushes Elio into the portal and saves him. The portal throws him straight into the ocean. Elio hits the water hard. The waves drag him, then throw him onto the shore. He struggles to stand, looks up at the sky, and his heart breaks. He's alone again. He starts crying, but luckily, he finds himself right next to the military base. He's shocked when he sees Olga and the clone watching the sky. Olga sends the clone to bring her something. The scanner glitches, and Elio uses the moment to approach her. He asks if she's okay, and she admits her life fell apart. She's been trying to contact the aliens to bring the real Elio back. From her words, we understand the clone told her everything, and she still doesn't realize the boy beside her is the real Elio. Suddenly, the lights around them flicker. Olga walks to him, lifts the patch from his eye, and finds his real eye underneath. She breaks down in joy, hugs him tight, and tells him how much she missed him and how lonely she's been since he came back from camp. Elio is overwhelmed. She really loves him and wants him home. He hugs her even tighter. The clone rushes back, telling them something strange is happening inside the base. They jump in the car and head there. Elio freezes when he sees his pod. Glorden is inside, and he needs help. Olga explains she doesn't have clearance to enter that area. The clone interrupts again. He's about to dissolve. They get an idea, use him as a distraction. They send him toward the guards. At first, the guard thinks he's just a kid, until he gets close and starts melting. The guard screams, the others panic and gather around him, and the clone completely dissolves. Olga and Elio grab the chance and slip inside, heading straight toward the pod. And suddenly, they slip in quietly, suit up, and enter the restricted zone. Inside, Elio steps out of the suit, unlocks the pod with his fingerprint, and they all climb in. He rushes to Glorden, finding him trapped behind a frosty shell, shaking from the cold. The heating system is failing, and fear hits Elio hard. Glorden could freeze to death. They have to get him out now, but at that moment, a soldier corners them with 2 researchers and orders them to leave the pod. Olga switches to a tone only Elio understands, telling him to throw the helmet. He does. She slams the door shut, and Elio seizes the moment. He launches the pod at full speed, escaping the base and breaking free from Earth's orbit. He checks on Glorden again, covers him with Olga's jacket to warm him up, and quietly apologizes. Then, he turns back to the controls, asking the pod to take them to the communication planet at light speed. But the pod can't lock onto a route, because they're stuck inside a field of drifting debris. Olga focuses, noticing a massive shard that almost hit them, and she realizes the truth. They can't get out without help from Earth. So Elio sends a signal, reaching Bryce through the radio. Bryce apologizes, says he heard everything, and asks how he can help. Elio asks if he knows anyone who can track the debris paths. Bryce connects them to Dr. Melmacky, who immediately sends coordinates. Olga turns those coordinates into new routes. Elio steers fast, dodging debris piece by piece. But the hits start coming. Small impacts shaking the pod, power dropping with each collision. They drift off course, yet they refuse to give up. Elio pushes harder, weaving through the chaos with sharp, quick moves. And then, a giant space station looms ahead. They work together, pull the pod around it at the last second, and finally break free from the debris field. The moment they're clear, the pod surges forward, racing at full speed toward the communication planet, and they finally reach him, right as the pod crashes into him. And suddenly, the whole planet is already under Lord Gregan's control, with all the ambassadors captured. Elio pulls Glorden out of the pod, hoping someone can help him. But Glorden doesn't move. Elio hugs him, crying, wishing he'll be okay. Gregan sees his son like this and breaks down. He destroys his armor, steps out, wraps Glorden in the threads, holds him close, and prays he'll be fine. The warmth reaches him. Glorden breathes again. He's alive. He hugs his father, and Gregan smiles in relief. The computer appears, giving everyone a communication disc, so they can all talk again. Elio checks on his friend, and Glorden tells his father he doesn't want to be a war machine, hurting and stealing from worlds. Gregan understands and tells him he'll love him no matter what, then holds him tight. All the ambassadors are freed and cheer for what Elio did. Questa steps forward, hands him the badge, and welcomes him as Earth's ambassador, one of them. She tells him he proved he has the heart of a leader, and thanks to him, they can all live in peace. Elio is happy knowing he can stay here, but Olga's sadness grows when the gate to Earth opens. Elio hesitates. Stay here with the ambassadors and Glorden, or go home with Olga? He looks at the badge, makes his choice, gives it back to Questa, and thanks her and everyone for what they did for him. He tells them Earth is his home, and he has to go back. He goes to Olga, hugs her, and tells her she's his family. She tears up. Questa approaches and tells he truly is special. Then says goodbye with the others. Glorden runs to him, hugs him tight, and they say goodbye. The computer collects the discs before sending everyone back to their worlds. Suddenly, the entire planet appears above Earth, shining a light that brings Elio and Olga down safely. Everyone on Earth sees the alien world and is amazed by its beauty, unable to believe what they're witnessing. And Elio and Olga are glowing with joy, because they've finally found their place together. And that's how our story ends.